Well, it's 7:10 in the morning and I'm waiting for Chris at the Timmy Hose. Trailer awaits.
Hello.
Morning!
Sort of late, as usual. Get my text?
No? What did the text say?
It says I need those speaker pads because
Brought 'em.
I can't fucking hear anything.
Brought 'em.
Oh, awesome. I'm also going deaf. I think that's partly why I can't hear anything, but I'm now religiously wearing my earplugs on the ride from home to your
And
trailer.
when near your family, I hope?
Yes, and
Ah, those ears are clean now.
that's in there deep.
Oh, hold on, let me get a shot of that. Want me to get the pliers? Holy shit.
I mean, look how fucking long those are.
Yikes. Never buy an earplug called the Intruder.
Whew, that is
All right, let's strap
snug.
these puppies down.
Get some breakfast.
Well, here we are in beautiful Chertsey, and we are parked in the ATV parking lot. Chris is doing some last-minute maintenance on the HP2, and today we're going to be trying out our new headsets, which are the Sena 20S, and we've got the little backpack, so theoretically the GoPro should be able to record everything that we are saying. So it's a nice day, and we're gonna get ready and hit the trail. Rolling?
Hard to tell. Yeah.
Hi everyone, this is Riley from the Awesome Players Off-Road Motorcycle Club, and this will be part 4 in our riveting series trying to get to Saint Donat. In the first episode, Chris and I found this interesting trail, but we didn't have the right trail passes, so we came back the next time, and then we spent most of the morning jerking around with flat tires on the HP2. In the third attempt, we brought new guy Super Dave with us, but after a few crashes, Dave was done for the day, so we didn't quite make it. So now we're back to try and finally make it all the way down this trail between Chertsey and Saint Donat, which actually isn't very far. To give ourselves a fighting chance, we decided to skip a big chunk of the trail that we'd already done and just try to meet up with the trail where we last left off. For this ride, we had a new piece of equipment. It's a little backpack made by Sena that snaps onto the back of the GoPro that allows you to record all the intercom audio. Now, you just saw me pointing to the left. That was a hill climb we'd done the week before, so I think we were a couple of kilometers now from where we had left off. Now back to the intercom. The only problem with this little Sena device was that due to the noise cancellation, all you really got was the voice, and you kind of lost all the sound of the motorcycle and the ambient. There was an option to turn on the external mic so that you got a mix of the ambient noise and the Sena, but then the problem was whenever you were talking to someone, there was a delay between the external mic and the internal mic, and you got these weird echoes. So this will be one of the few times we actually use this device. The other reason we stopped using this device was that, how should I say it, when a bunch of boys are chatting away on a Sunday with nobody else listening, they occasionally say things that perhaps you don't want recorded.
All right, Bill, a couple of 100 meters.
Yeah, we're coming up.
Coming up on the right, you can see an ATV trail sign. I believe that's where we'd come out a couple of weeks ago with Super Dave. The trail crossed the highway, so this was where we were going to try and jump on the trail and continue our quest to actually finish this little ride. Chris kept going, but of course his bike doesn't have ABS, but I had to stop and switch it off. That would avoid a lot of drama later on. And once again, this is the typical terrain for this area. It kind of varies between hard packed with a little bit of sand and a liberal dousing of rocks. This section here actually was pretty nice.
Hey, see, Dave should have come along today. You would have loved this. No rocks.
The trail continued down the side of the highway with the occasional little hill climb like this one here. And so far there hadn't been anything too rough, and even in the rocky sections we were able to just choose a line that avoided the rocks.
Ooh.
At one point the trail even came to a little miniature sand pit. Chris decided to take a little spin to check it out.
That's loose. Yeah. Whoa!
I had a feeling I might need some energy later on this ride, so I decided to just stick to the main trail.
I almost didn't make it up to the top there. Yeah, look, there's pavement here. This used to be the old 125. Really? Yeah. I have a hard time believing that. Yeah, you know what? They straightened all these roads, right? Because they were originally just, they were originally just drunk guy in a snowmobile, and then they paved it.
The trail continued like that for about 10 minutes until we came upon a little village.
Notre Dame de la Merci. I don't know if this was the way I was supposed to go.
We'd never been here before, and we were a little confused as to which way we were supposed to go. It kind of seemed like here we were driving across a pedestrian bridge, but it looked like there actually was a walkway on the side. We were a little unsure of which way to go. At least Chris was confident enough to spray me with some rocks there. And then we met a few fellow motorcyclists, but these guys didn't look like they were going to be all that helpful. And then it finally dawned on us that this trail just went right through town. And like I've mentioned in some other videos, a lot of these communities really cater to the snowmobile and ATV crowd because they're a big source of tourism revenue. And I guess this municipality had kind of built this little roadway right through town. Some of these municipalities have even passed legislation that allows ATVs and other non-street legal vehicles to ride down the shoulders of roads, which allows them to connect from one trail section to the next without having to break the law.
That's heading back. No. It's going to go in the woods and do something.
Eventually the trail crossed the highway once again, and we were back on gravel. It kind of looked here like we were heading south again, but by taking a peek at the GPS, it seemed that we were just going to veer south a little bit, and then once again here, we'd start heading back north towards Saint Donat. With Chris in the lead, a little bit farther down the trail, we were riding along behind an ATV for quite a while, and finally the guy pulled over to let us by. It's a little bit risky to just pass one of these ATVs unless you're really sure he knows you're there. And frequently, they'll actually just stop to let us go by. One of the things you'll notice is that unless the guy's on one of these really sporty type ATVs, you're going to be going a lot faster than a guy on an ATV, especially if the trail's a little rough. Those guys are getting thrown around. So whenever we're out there, we're always passing the ATVs, and I don't think in all the years we've been doing this, an ATV has ever come up behind us and passed us.
Where did you go? I went through that middle rut. Where did you go? Through the middle. I just went to the little puddle in the middle. Yeah, I think fine. I went to the other little puddle in the middle. It wasn't bad. The crackling's back. Yeah.
At this point, we hadn't been using these intercom systems for very long, and we were getting a lot more comfortable with it. And one of the things that was happening in a little spot like this was the lead rider would radio back and tell the people following, and me in this case, I stayed to the right and it was good, or watch out on the left, there would look like it was deeper. And as time went on, we would be using these intercoms more and more in that way, which was great. Even situations like this where you come to a junction are made a lot easier by the intercom because you don't have to roll up right beside the guy, try to talk over the noise of the engines and when you're making a little decision like this. And of course, if you've got 4 or 5 guys riding together, then it's a real pain to try and decide what you're going to do and get everybody's input unless you're actually going to stop and everybody's going to get off and have a little chat. So once again, I would certainly recommend these intercom systems. These Sena 20s, one thing we found out pretty early was that the range estimates for these are very optimistic. I think they did all of their testing in Saskatchewan. Certainly, as soon as Chris or I were out of sight of each other, we started having issues. There were some firmware upgrades to these units which solved a few issues, but you will never get anywhere near the range they're claiming out in the woods.
Whoa! Alright, I'm going right.
Sometimes the lead rider doesn't even have to tell you what's going on. You can just hear what's going on. If you hear kind of a big groan or thud, you can pretty much figure out that something's coming. And in that situation, Chris had let out a bit of a groan because he hit a rocky section and he chose a bad line. Here you could see there was some nice washed out ruts on the left, and we had gotten into this sandy section, which was nice and smooth for at least a little while. Sadly, the sandy sections didn't last forever, and we got back to the rocks. And of course, due to erosion, it's usually on the hills that the rocks are going to be the worst. And at one point on this one, there really didn't seem to be a line where you could avoid the rocks. So at some point, I just had to hold on and just thump over quite a few.
Which line to take? Whoa! Uh-oh, that's a good... Oh, Chris is in the rhubarb.
Up ahead, Chris had ricocheted off a few rocks and put himself into the rhubarb.
Can I get by you without kissing? Oh yeah, you can go up. Which way? I'm in the ditch. Left or right? Oh, I don't know. You go straight.
Then it was my turn. And I could see why Chris kind of veered off. I took a few weird bounces and kind of decided to stop here instead of falling over. But luckily I'd made it past the steepest part of the hill, and I was able to get going again without too much trouble. Just a little clutch slipping, and I was past the hill and found a little spot to park so I could go back and give Chris a hand.
I'm amazed I didn't drop it. I like the big smear mark on the rock. Well, I was losing it because I hit the big boulder first. And I went over that, I hit that, and then I ricocheted off this, and then I just went sideways. You can see a nice big sideways rubber smear. All right, so I say we pull the front around it. Hold on. That's me, grab it. You got her? No. Oh. I'm trying to hop you right onto here. I'll lift you. Ready? 1, 2. Oh. Okay. Think I can gas it out of here? Yeah. Gibbler. Come on, baby. Thank you. What happened back there, Chris?
I ricocheted off the road into the ditch and sort of climbed a rock face a little bit.
If only you'd had a steering damper.
I did. There was a lot of ricocheting going on, considering. Although I think I have my damper turned down a little bit.
Oh, mine's on He-Man.
He-Man. Go straight at all costs.
Mine's on, like, I can actually stand on the seat and drive up those hills. And we got a little more.
That was some rough.
Yeah, that was rocky. I don't think Dave would have liked that.
No, Dave would not have appreciated that.
So we got a little more. And we've got the no ATV sodomy sign. Very important. You don't want to be distracted in these hill climbs. Whew. Chris, can you hear me?
Yep, I think I can now.
Oh, you're in?
Yeah, I was off.
Remember.
I know.
Bad riding makes good video.
Yes, bad riding does make good video. Woo!
After our little break, Chris headed off first.
Holy shit. Oh, it is rocky up here.
Uh-oh. How is it?
Oh, it's rocky. Stay right.
And through the beauty of the intercom, Chris was able to tell me that this was going to be painful.
All right.
You see it? Are you coming up? There's some big rocks up there.
Holy.
And it's narrow between the tree and that last one.
Help. Whoa!
That last one's a bitch, eh?
Actually, you know what? I just went over the big rock.
Oh, you did?
I just bailed.
There you also heard the level of profanity that tends to go along with the more challenging trails, which is another reason why we really stopped using this intercom recording device.
Nice big rocks.
Okay.
I kind of like those big rocks. Like hopping up over them is kind of fun.
Yeah, because they don't move.
Yeah.
This whole section of the trail was proving a lot more interesting than the chunk of trail beside the highway. A few minutes later, we came to the base of another big hill.
Baby.
The left is pretty clean. It's just steep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but do you think we suck at hard left or stay in that second track?
No. The second track's fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Give me a little more room.
All right.
Good luck.
Don't need luck.
Never. Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
All right, I'm a-coming.
And I did the crossover again, but I just do that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, this is good, baby. Oh, yeah. Morceau de merde.
It looked worse than it actually was, and of course we should have known it wasn't going to be too rough because there was no ATV anti-sodomy sign at the base of the hill. We ended up passing the same ATV who had passed us a few minutes ago when we'd been on our break. And as you can hear from the motor, we were still climbing. This section of the trail was smoother, and every now and then we'd come across one of these big flat rocks.
Like I think it's I don't know, it's like once it gets out of distance or something, it starts to lose its, there, now it's coming back a bit.
To see another example of how the GoPro flattens terrain, check out this big rock. It looks like those steps are about an inch high, but some of them are probably a foot or so.
So, left 40.
Then we came upon a sign that was telling us we were about 40 kilometers from Saint-Donat. The trail just kept going and going, and this section here you're seeing is about 20 minutes later than the previous section you just saw. The occasional little hill climb like this one, still lots of rocks. And this trail was definitely going to be on our list of places to come back and revisit. It would also be fun perhaps to try doing it the other direction. It's interesting how different a trail can seem just by backtracking. Eventually we got to an intersection, and it looked like both choices would eventually take us to Saint-Donat.
Yeah, I think that one.
But
Okay, so yeah,
based on what the GPS was telling us, it looked like the one to the left was going to be taking us more towards Saint-Donat.
Assuming that it's about the same distance.
A couple of minutes later, the trail dumped us out onto this little 2-lane blacktop road. We followed the ATV signs for about a kilometer or so until the trail once again started up on our right.
Okay, it says ATV.
ATV is on the there's an ATV on the trail.
Side by side. Everybody's allowed.
At some point, we got to reap the benefits of all those uphills, and we came to a really long downhill section that was quite steep.
Okay, don't go too slow because I can only tractor it. Oh.
Oh, yeah, this.
Oh, passing you on the left.
All right, I'm going to speed up.
Oh, those are big rocks.
Oh. There's lots more. Lots more down.
Oh, we went up for quite a while.
Oh. Uh-oh. Sorry. Oh.
What's it trying to do to me?
I had to get my ass out. All right. All right. Oh, did you rub my rear tire there? Or?
No.
This was followed shortly by a nice hill climb.
Oh,
I heard that.
that was a skid plate.
Yeah, that was loud.
That was the front end toss something right into the skid plate, or maybe the toolbox.
Whoa! I gotta tighten up my damper. I almost went off the side.
Shit. Maybe second gear wasn't the greatest choice.
Holy, it's bumpy. Woo! Whoa!
That was some loose.
Followed by yet another nice long downhill.
Oh. Depending on how fast you're going, I guess.
Excuse me. Oh, I guess because it's all bearing city all the way down. Yep. Yeah, this is good.
Shite.
Oh, shite. This is... Okay, which way? I guess it's this way. All right, yeah, here it's not bad on the left.
Yeah, following your line.
Oh, okay, my left. Whoa. You still following my expert line?
Yes. I'm actually in the process of switching lines. Ooh, that's better.
Okay,
Holy Jesus Christ.
Scheisse. Hey.
Maybe I let a little too much air out of that front tire. It's feeling pretty soft.
At least there's dirt here.
Holy Jesus.
All right. C'est bon.
Eventually, after plenty of the same, we hit the road to Saint-Donat. We had finally made it, so the first order of business was going to find a place where we could sit in the sunshine and enjoy a nice cold beer.
Parking. Come on.
The executive parking is...
Over here. Where it says no parking.
All right.
11:39.
Beer time.
Success.
Beer time. Success. It was really only an hour.
Yeah, we only really rode for an hour.
Yeah.
So it was about an hour and a half commute, an hour ride, and now we have an hour to drink beer.
I guess the fourth attempt was the charm, and we had finally made it from Chertsey to Saint-Donat. And as you just heard, without any interruptions, it really wasn't that far and really didn't take that long. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can leave us a comment down below. Please hit the subscribe button, then you'll be notified of any new videos right away when they come out. You can also stay in touch with us through our Facebook page, and you'll see posts from players from all around the world. And of course, you can head over to awesomeplayers.com, where you can get our email contact information, as well as click on the order tab to buy one of our stickers. Once again, thanks for joining us on another little adventure of the Awesome Players Off-Road Motorcycle Club. Thanks for watching.